Okay, so this is the moment you've been waiting for. Finally, we'll be able to kill zombies. And we have zombies set up right now. We have our class. They have their sort of position variables and their velocities, and we have them coming off the screen edges, and they're going towards the player. We made all that happen. But now we want to make them killable. I'm not sure what that means for a zombie to be alive. It doesn't really make sense. But I've made a Boolean alive variable right here, and I invite you to also include one. It's the easiest way, I think, to make this work. So zombies basically are going to be considered alive if they're moving. I know that doesn't really make sense with zombies, but just deal with it, I guess. And then when they get shot by a bullet, we'll set their alive variable to false, so they'll die. The problem, though, that makes this hard compared to every other thing we've done is that there's multiple bullets. It has to check with collisions between any of the bullets that are on screen. And as you saw when I first began, when my kids and I changed the bullets, you could have like hundreds of bullets on the screen, or at least, I don't know. There could be lots of bullets. So we have to find a way to have each zombie check against all the bullets that are out there that it could possibly run into, which is going to be done in a loop. It's basically just going to be a loop inside of our act function that'll go through our list of bullets and look to see each time if the bullet is intersecting with our zombie's circle. So let's get started. So I got the Boolean alive variable. Don't forget to set that to true. If you don't set it to true in your constructor, your zombies will spawn as not alive, although, again, that kind of makes sense. Zombies aren't alive, but they'll spawn and they won't do anything. Basically, they'll immediately be removed from the game. So we want to make sure the alive is set to true. Clearly, I'm not looking to choose zombies next time, because zombies, the alive should be false, but I don't know. I don't care. It's all good. They have a show function. You already got that going on. And they have an act function. You probably got something similar to this. And in the act function, that's where we're going to check to see if they're being shot by any particular bullet. So I'm just going to code up sort of the math that you normally do. I'm just going to put that on the screen, and you can take a look at that. This is the same math we've been using since the Pong game or the Brick Baker game, just to check to see if two circles are colliding with each other, because everything is a circle in this game. So you basically have an if statement where you check the distance between, and obviously there's more than one bullet, but I'll just say B as being some generic bullet, dot X and B dot Y, and compare that to, we're going to measure the distance from that to our actual characters X and Y. Oh, no, not the characters, sorry, the zombies X and Y. And in the zombies tab, X and Y refers to simply whatever zombie is currently doing the checking. So it's going to find the distance between the bullet and the zombie, and if it's less than whatever the sum of the two radii is, then it's going to be killed. So I don't know what that number is, and you might have a different number than me, so you might want to go just check that right now. How big is your zombie? My zombie is 30, so its radius is 15, and my bullet's size 10, so its diameter is 5, so I guess 15 plus 5 is 20. So I'll say less than 20. Although if I was being really smart about it, I'd probably do like B dot D divided by 2 plus D divided by 2. But you could also just kind of add it up and say, oh, it adds up to 20. Hey, what's the difference, by the way? Why might you choose to do this rather than just do 20? What's the value of doing it this way? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it actually, I would say this takes more time in the short term, but in the long run, if I ever change zombies, or if I decide to have zombies that some are bigger, some are smaller, if my bullets can be bigger or smaller, then this automatically updates. So Brian's absolutely right. If we change things, or if things are designed to be different, this will always work no matter what. But if you're kind of weirded out by this, and you just want to be like, well, that's 15 and that's 5, so I'll just make 15 plus 5 is 20, then that's also okay too, because this project's not probably going to be big enough to have a lot of changes in it. Anyways, there's my typical sort of if statement to check if I'm colliding with something. Notice the B is red. It's like underlined in red because there's no bullet, right? Even if there's bullets on the screen, there's no variable called B that keeps track of any particular bullet, right? What do we have? We have list. We have a bullet list that keeps track of all our bullets. There's no like single bullet variable. There is for heroes though. That's kind of a nice thing. Heroes, you could actually say like my hero dot x or something like that. But there's no single bullet variable. So that's a bit of a problem. But before we solve that problem, what do we want to have happen when this zombie is hit by a bullet? We'll set alive to false. That's all we're going to do. And you could do some other things too if you want, but I think this is a good start. Okay. So now let's actually solve it so that we can find bullets. And we're going to make B, basically, we're going to make a loop that will go through all of the bullets, and we'll grab one bullet at a time, and we'll just call it B. Give it the nickname B, because I'm lazy. I don't want to type a long name for this generic bullet that's not really going to be sticking around. So we'll just loop through the list with a while loop, and then pull out each bullet, call it B, and then we can have it do this code for each bullet. And then any bullet that we collide with will turn the zombie's alive variable to false. Does that make sense what the goal is here? And why we're doing it? Some people feeling good about it? Yeah? Feeling good? Great. So again, let's make this loop. How do I start a loop? While? Oh, there's something that goes before that. Yeah, something like int I or something like that for sure. Just a counting variable. And if you're getting sick of I, you can change it up. But we're in a whole new function, so I could just use I again. And then we got the while. While what? Well, remember, we're going through a list of bullets. What does that look like? I mean, honestly, we could pretty much just like look at our old lists that go through bullets. What's an example of a list, a loop that goes through bullets? Oh, this one right here. Whew, there we go. This is pretty much going to be the same kind of structure that we were using before. So if you're like, oh, where is this all coming from? It's just the same pattern we've been doing before. So we're going to say while I is less than bullet list dot size, which will allow us to go through all of the bullets. Then I'm going to put a brace. And you know what? I'm not going to leave that brace just hanging. I'm going to go close it right now because I hate having an odd number of braces. If you have an odd number of braces, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So after I type that one in, I'm going to go to the bottom just after my if statement and put another one in just to make sure it's even. I'll press Control-T to line it up. And then what I'll do is I'll get the bullet at index I. So I'll say bullet B equals bullet list dot get I. Ooh. So then we'll get bullet 0. And then we'll check if bullet 0's distance is less than the sum of the radii. And if it is, we'll set alive to false. And then what do we do after that? We move on to the next bullet. So we say I plus plus, or I equals I plus 1, depending on how you want to do that. So this moves us to the next bullet. Then bullet becomes 1. And so we get bullet 1. And we check bullet 1 to see if it's colliding with us. And then we go to the next bullet and check bullet 2, and so on. And we just kind of make this automated loop that will go through all the bullets, however many there are, and each time set, if we have a collision, set alive to false, so that the zombie can die. We're not quite done yet. There's one last thing to do, and that is to actually remove the zombie when it gets hit. I'm not sure if you've included this or not in your project. So in case you haven't, I'm going to go and make that change right now. It's possible that your zombies and your bullets kind of look like something like this right now. So I'm going to the draw function, by the way, in the main tab. And I'm assuming you probably have a while loop to process your zombies that looks like this. So this is where you can make that alive variable mean something. This is what you want the alive zombies to do. Awkward. You want them to show themselves and act. But what do you want the dead zombies to do? You want them to get out of the list, like remove them and throw them away so that you don't get to see them anymore on the screen. So what you can do is after you get a zombie, you can check to see if it's alive. And if it's alive, do these things. And if it's not, then remove it from the list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this so this is an if statement. I'm going to add this in. Hey, if current zombie equals alive equals true, then I'll do this. That's what alive zombies do. And then if they're not alive, I'll do the else to indicate that. Then I'll remove them from the list. And this code, if it looks familiar, it's because it's from the particles assignment. When we did the particles puzzle, I guess we were calling them, we would remove the particles that went off screen. This is exactly the same structure as how we did those things. So all I'm going to put in here is zombie list dot remove Z, I guess in this case, is the variable I'm using, but you can use whatever one you prefer. So that's what how you actually make the zombies die. The class itself, sorry, Jeffrey and Jack, let's make sure you're listening here. Thank you. So the class itself is responsible for looking at bullets and checking that alive variable, kind of setting it to true or false if it has a collision. And then it uses this alive variable to trigger either the zombie to be shown or the zombie to get taken out of the list. Now, this is the moment where the zombie actually truly dies. When you remove it from the list, it's no longer going to have an act and show function that's going to happen. It's truly gone from the game. So the alive variable just kind of triggers that choice, whether you act it and show it or if you remove it. And that's basically the story. If I run it, I think I've messed up my zombies. I made them come very slowly. So basically I can just kill zombies and things go pretty smoothly from here. You'll notice that the bullets go straight through. And maybe I just have a crazy high caliber gun that just blows through things. So you might wonder, well, how can I make the bullet also die? That would be really simple. Check it out. I'll show you how you can make the bullet so that when it hits the zombie, it gets used up. So one bullet gets removed as soon as you hit the zombie. Our bullet, I don't know if your bullet has an alive function or not. Did you guys put a live variable? If you didn't, you could stick an alive Boolean variable in your bullet right now. And I would set it to true in the constructor. So this is in bullet. And again, I'm trying to make it so that when the bullet hits the zombie, the bullet also dies. So I got my Boolean variable in bullet. I set it to true in the constructor. And what you can do is, in the zombie code, when the zombie gets hit by a bullet, not only can you set the zombie's alive variable to false, you can also set the bullet's alive variable to false. So then two things are dying, a zombie and a bullet, neither of which were alive in the first place. So I'm not sure how this alive variable is going for you, if that makes sense. Maybe active might have been a better word, but hopefully you understand what it means. This on its own does nothing, though. Don't forget that you'd have to go add that in. Oh, actually, maybe we do have that for our bullets, because you make them die when they go off screen, right? So that probably will already just automatically work for you. But if you don't have that going, then you would also have to add in sort of the same sort of if structure as well. And I'm pretty sure we did have that going. I'm pretty sure we had our bullets dying when they went off screen. So now if I run this, I can get a 1 bullet per zombie hit. So that the bullet just, I guess I'm making too many bullets. I gotta make 1 bullet at a time. I'll put this in mouse released. Mouse pressed. Here we go. So now it probably should work out where you just hit a zombie and the bullet goes away. And if it's not working for you, let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. But that's sort of the last thing for us to do. I have to say this is the hardest thing, and I'm not really marking it right now. Just showing it to you. I want you to see it. This is something we are going to be doing in the Bullet Hell project, where I'm not going to come in and do a lesson on this and show you. This is sort of our introduction to this idea, where if you have a system of many things like zombies, interacting with a system of many things like bullets, then they have to loop through. One of them's got to loop through the other one, because right now there's many zombies and could be many bullets, and it's got to be checking all of the bullets and all of the zombies at the same time. So that's a pretty swanky piece of code. I think it'll serve you well.